North Korea's Shenzhen Sinuiju, the symbolic window of North Korea's opening. Episode 21, Sinuiju International Economic Zone, connects the Seoul Pyongyang Sinuiju Beijing land route, creating the miracle on the Dandong River. North Korean Workers' Party can implement a market economy. What fundamentally distinguishes North Korea's Sinuiju from Rason or Kaesong is its direct connection to China's Dandong and the three northeastern provinces, which constitute the single largest hinterland economic zone. With Dandong's GDP at approximately $15 billion, Sinuiju is the only North Korean city capable of immediate connection to the entire northeastern economic zone. Following denuclearization, Sinuiju will become a key nodal point in the Northeast Asian land transportation network, extending from Seoul to Kaesong, Pyongyang, Sinuiju, Dandong, and Beijing. The Sinuiju International Economic Zone is the largest trade and logistics hub special zone on the North Korea-China border, located directly across the Yalu River from Dandong, China. It was initially pursued as the Sinuiju Special Administrative Region in 2002, but failed due to political friction. It was subsequently redesignated as the Sinuiju International Economic Zone around 2014. The development area is planned to be approximately 38 square kilometers, consisting of 29% industrial area and 16% residential area, and aims for joint development between North Korea and China in conjunction with the Hwanggeumpyeong and Wihwado economic zones. Compared to Rason, the development progress of the Sinuiju International Economic Zone has been significantly slower, and there have been almost no results in attracting large-scale foreign investment. Sinuiju is a city that has experienced the most dramatic failures in the history of North Korea's reform and opening. The first instance occurred in 2002 when the late North Korean Supreme Leader, after personally witnessing the Pudong New Area in Shanghai, exclaimed that it was a transformation of heaven and earth and abruptly pushed for the establishment of the Sinuiju Special Administrative Region. In September 2002, North Korea publicly announced the designation of the Sinuiju Special Administrative Region to the international community and appointed Yang Bin, a Dutch national of Chinese descent, as its administrator. However, all plans fell apart when Yang Bin was arrested in China on October 4th, just 1 week after the announcement, on charges of tax evasion. The Sinuiju Special Administrative Region was officially abolished with the enactment of the Economic Development Zone Law in 2013 and replaced by the Sinuiju International Economic Zone. The second opportunity was the systematization of land use laws after 2013, but actual development was once again thwarted by the purge of Jang Song-taek in December 2013 and the strengthening of UN sanctions. Since the completion of the 4-lane new Yalu River bridge between Sinuiju and Dandong in September 2014, it has remained abandoned and unopened for over a decade. While China constructed customs and warehouse buildings and even paved the site with asphalt, North Korea has left the 44-hectare site, designated for the customs office, empty for over a decade, without showing any signs of starting construction, and the connection of the Pyongyang-Sinuiju Expressway also remains incomplete. The actual reason for the bridge's non-opening is not a technical issue. While it is said that the current Supreme Leader remarked at a gathering, "If the new Yalu River Bridge is opened, a division of Jang Song-taek will invade," the bridge was originally constructed under the overall supervision of Jang Song-taek. The core reason for the bridge's non-opening is that, following the execution of the pro-China faction leader Jang Song-taek, the Supreme Leader perceives the very policy of pursuing Chinese-style reform and opening as a threat to the regime. However, the immediate opening of this bridge following denuclearization could serve as the most powerful first signal for the development of Sinuiju. Since the Chinese infrastructure is already fully complete, the bridge could effectively open within a few weeks once the construction of North Korea's customs facilities is finished. If the North Korean facilities are completed between 2025 and 2026, the possibility of opening in late 2026 or early 2027 is being raised. The Sinuiju Greenhouse Complex, which broke ground in February 2025, is a large-scale greenhouse complex located near Wihwado and Hwanggeumpyeong and was completed in February 2026 in the presence of the Supreme Leader. Although it was promoted for the purposes of recovering from flood damage in 2024, supplying food and vegetables, and serving as a base for North Korea-China agricultural cooperation, it is characterized more as a North Korean self-reliance project than as a foreign investment initiative. While it functions as a major gateway for North Korea-China trade, most of the trade and processing, specifically clothing, wigs, and daily necessities, is centered on small-scale Chinese merchants. Joint development of the island regions of Hwanggeumpyeong and Wihwado has been virtually stalled since discussions on Chinese investment began in the early 2010s. Due to sanctions and the aftermath of COVID-19, it was virtually scrapped in the late 2010s and early 2020s, and although there have been movements to resume attracting foreign investment since 2023, actual results have been minimal. It mainly consists of local greenhouse farm projects linked to the 2010 Regional Development Policy. Unlike the Rason Logistics and Processing Center or the Wonsan Mount Kumgang Tourism Center, Sinuiju has the greatest potential as a North Korea-China border trade and logistics hub, but it is the special economic zone with the slowest development due to political and infrastructure constraints. Sinuiju already possesses a significant industrial base within North Korea. It includes the Sinuiju Machinery Factory, Bukjung Machinery Factory, Yonggampo Shipyard, Bukjung Electric Factory, Sinuiju Chemical Fiber Complex, and Bonghua Chemical Factory. It produces soup, chemical fibers, pulp, enamelware, and cosmetics using reeds grown on Bedansum as raw materials. Recently, it has been reported that Hwanggeumpyeong Trading Company, a leading North Korean IT trading firm in Sinuiju, signed an agreement with a high-tech Chinese electronics company to establish an exchange structure in which it imports semiconductors, lithium-ion batteries, display panels, and high-end chipsets in exchange for providing rare earth elements. This demonstrates that Sinuiju is already unofficially becoming a hub for the trade of IT and electronic components. North Korea's IT infrastructure includes the Chosun Computer Center, which is equipped with facilities such as an electronic computing room, a machine control room, a computer simulation room, an image processing room, and a computer technology training institute, and is responsible for software development and training technical personnel, while the Yunbile Computer Technology Research Institute has been developing products in the latest information technology fields such as artificial intelligence, fuzzy theory, image processing, character recognition, and machine translation. If UN sanctions are eased or lifted due to denuclearization and North Korea pursues a Chinese-style gradual opening that includes price liberalization, mixed ownership, expansion of private property and land use rights, and strengthening of special laws for special zones, Sinuiju is highly likely to grow most rapidly as the frontline hub for North Korea's economic opening. Its geographical advantages being within 1 kilometers of Dandong and serving as a hinterland market for China's 3 northeastern provinces are overwhelming. In the short term, 1 to 3 years, the full opening of the new Yalu River Bridge will lead to a surge in North Korea-China trade and logistics. Furthermore, by establishing a Chinese capital-led light industry, OEM cluster and trade, warehousing, and logistics complexes, the islands of Hwanggeumpyeong and Wihwado will be developed into specialized zones for free trade and processing. During the intermediate phase of 3 to 7 years, the city will be fully integrated into the China-North Korea supply chain, expanding labor-intensive industries such as clothing, sewing, electronic component assembly, primary mineral processing, and food processing. Sinuiju will be developed into a North Korean version of Dandong, or a key hub of the North Korea-China economic belt. In the long term, the city's population will be expanded to over 350,000. And by introducing finance, service, and high-tech manufacturing industries, it has the potential to develop into a comprehensive economic city involving capital from South Korea, China, and Russia. Key success factors include large-scale investments in the Yalu River Bridge, roads, power, and telecommunications infrastructure strengthened protection of property rights and a balance between control and commercial activities. There is a risk of excessive dependence on China in the event of failure. Unprecedented conditions, such as visa-free entry, duty-free status, and the recognition of private property, have been legally codified through the Economic Development Zone law, enacted in 2013, and the Sinuiju International Economic Zone Investment Guide, released in 2015. Following denuclearization, the Sinuiju International Economic Zone is expected to become a complex hub for manufacturing, IT, and finance in Northeast Asia. Once denuclearization and the lifting of sanctions are achieved, Sinuiju will record explosive growth based on its geographical advantages. Investments in manufacturing and contract manufacturing will establish clothing, electronics assembly, and light industry complexes to serve as a supporting production base for Dandong, China. Investment in advanced information technology and software as a service, ITSAS, will establish a software development base linked to the Hwanggeumpyeong High-Tech Development Zone, becoming an outsourcing hub utilizing skilled, low-wage IT personnel. International logistics investment will connect the Trans-China Railway TCR and the Trans-Korean Railway TKR, serving as the terminus of the West Coast Industrial Axis, linking Pyeongtaek, Kaesong, Pyongyang, and Sinuiju. International tourism investment will create an integrated tourism belt between Sinuiju and Dandong, revitalizing day trip and short-stay shopping and cultural tourism. As progress in denuclearization creates an environment conducive to the development of the Sinuiju International Economic Zone, competition among neighboring countries will ensue. With China expected to secure an overwhelming lead, it will likely promote the Dandong-Sinuiju Metropolitan Economic Zone, linking Dandong and Sinuiju into a single economic bloc, and utilize Sinuiju as an export gateway for its northeast region through preemptive investments in basic infrastructure such as power and roads. South Korea aims to establish a second Kaesong industrial complex, a massive industrial complex combining South Korean capital and technology with North Korean labor. It will engage in fierce competition with Chinese capital to secure a leading position, particularly in heavy industries such as semiconductor back-end processing and automotive parts. International organizations, such as the World Bank WB and the Asian Development Bank ADB, will act as game changers by providing large-scale loans to facilitate a soft landing for North Korea and demanding infrastructure standardization and institutional transparency. Let's examine the competitive landscape among participants for each industrial investment category in the Sinuiju International Economic Zone following denuclearization. The Logistics and Bonded Trade Hub Project. Current participants: transshipment trade by Chinese companies in Dandong via the Yalu River. Bridge is the only practical logistics route. 70% of the annual North Korea-China trade, valued at $2 to $2.5 billion, passes through this corridor. Competitive entrants. After denuclearization. These include China's COSCO, China Railway, and Dandong City state-owned enterprises, South Korea's Hyundai Glovis, and Lotte Logistics, global logistics companies, DHL and FedEx, and Japan's Yamato and Yamato Transport. Competitive landscape. The Dandong-Sinuiju logistics corridor will be activated immediately upon the opening of the new Yalu River Bridge. Chinese companies possess an absolute advantage in existing networks and geographical proximity, enabling the fastest entry. Korean logistics companies hold a strategic interest in establishing a trans-Korean complex logistics route connecting Dandong, Sinuiju, Pyeongtaek, Kaesong, and Busan. Global logistics companies are likely to utilize Sinuiju as a separate origin hub during the process of restructuring supply chains to evade Chinese sanctions. The IT and Electronics Industrial Complex Project. Current participants. Internal North Korean IT companies, such as Hwanggeumpyeong Trading Company, are introducing Chinese technology through unofficial channels. Competitors. Entering the market after denuclearization. These include back-end process cooperation with South Korean companies, Samsung Electronics, LG Electronics, and SK Hynix OCT partnerships with Taiwanese companies, Foxconn and ASE Group partnerships with Chinese companies Huawei and Xiaomi, where U.S. sanctions remain a variable, and design cooperation with U.S. fabless companies Intel and Qualcomm. Competitive landscape. Due to Sinuiju's geographical location bordering Dandong, China, integrated production with the Dandong IT Industrial Park is the most immediate model. Upon obtaining IRA and CHIPS Act qualifications, Korean companies can incorporate Sinuiju's post-processing production into a U.S. subsidy-eligible supply chain. This can be developed into a northwestern version of the Hwanggeumpyeong IT Special Zone model, which converts North Korea's mathematics and engineering talent into software development personnel. Textile and light industry export processing business. Current participants. Existing factories in the chemical, fiber, machinery, and electrical sectors are operating at low capacity, and some pre-COVID Chinese contract manufacturing companies still exist. Competitive entrants after denuclearization. These include Korean textile and fashion companies such as Youngwon Trading, Hanzi Textile, and CAH trading suppliers of global fast fashion brands H&M, Zara, and Nike seeking to relocate from Vietnam, and Japanese textile companies. Competitive landscape. In the global fast fashion supply chain, where the relocation of production bases is urgent due to China's imposition of tariffs exceeding 145%, Sinuiju is the optimal location, capable of both procuring fabrics via Dandong and exporting finished products to Korea, China, and Japan. Korean textile companies can achieve the fastest entry based on their experience with the Kaesong industrial complex, and negotiations regarding the recognition of Korean origin are the key issues. Financial and securities services business. Current participants none. SWIFT is excluded due to sanctions. Only informal financial services such as currency exchange in North Korea's internal markets exist. Post-denuclearization, competitive entrants. Dedicated branches for inter-Korean economic cooperation by South Korean banks such as KEB Hana Bank, Shinhan Bank, and Woori Bank, cooperation with the Asian Development Bank by Hong Kong and Singaporean banks, and the expansion of Dandong branches by the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, and the Bank of China. Competitive landscape. Assuming swift rejoining and foreign exchange liberalization, Sinuiju will become North Korea's first international financial hub. Key initial functions include serving as a hub for North Korean $1 Chinese currency exchange, operating escrow accounts dedicated to inter-Korean economic cooperation settlements, and providing trade finance for small and medium-sized enterprises. In the long term, it could even play a role in supporting the partial privatization of North Korean state-owned enterprises through the establishment of a stock exchange, similar to the Hanoi Stock Exchange model in Vietnam. Real estate and urban development projects. Current participants. The Madusan Economic Association nominally holds the development rights, and construction of high-rise residential and commercial buildings along the Yalu River is underway. Competitive entrants after denuclearization. These include South Korea's Hyundai Engineering and Construction, Daelim Industrial, and POSCO ENC, China's Vanke and Country Garden, and Singapore's Keppel Land. Sinuiju's geographical premium lies in its status as a border city with views of the Dandong River. Since the demand for permanent stays by foreign business people and tourists is expected to surge after denuclearization, mixed-use developments of offices, residences, and hotels are the sector that will yield the fastest returns. Competitive landscape. While Chinese real estate companies have the financial strength and experience to lead in initial development, Korean construction companies hold the advantage in technology, design, and management. Tourism and duty-free business. Current participants. The only existing participants are non-contact tourism to North Korea via Yalu River, cruises from Dandong. Competitors entering the market. After denuclearization. These include South Korea's Lotte Duty Free and Shilla Duty Free, China International Travel Service CITS, Dandong City Tourism Enterprises, and Arctic Route Cruise Companies. Border tourism between Dandong and Sinuiju, Yalu River cruises and kayaking, history and culture tours within Sinuiju, and duty-free shops selling North Korean cosmetics and specialty products are sectors that will generate immediate demand. If the annual demand for border tourism from millions of people in Dandong shifts to tourism entering Sinuiju, it will become a massive source of foreign currency revenue. North Korea offers various investment incentives. If granted exclusive operation rights for the new Yalu River Bridge, monetization is possible upon opening by collecting tolls and granting priority paid passage to specific companies. If granted exclusive permission for the Yalu River Logistics Corridor, 0% customs duties and 24-hour expedited customs clearance are provided for import and export volumes through the Sinuiju bonded port. Long-term land use rights include a 50-year usage right for development sites along the Yalu River, specifically long-term leases of premium sites with riverside views to foreign companies. Corporate tax benefits include a 15-year exemption from corporate tax within the IT, finance, and logistics zones, followed by a low tax rate of 5%. With North Korea's minimum wage of $120 per month being less than half that of Dandong, low-wage labor is a key incentive. There is also a negotiation card regarding the recognition of origin in negotiations with South Korea. It is possible to offer special economic cooperation provisions that allow products manufactured in Sinuiju to be recognized as originating from South Korea. In this case, they could be subject to South Korean tariff rates in the U.S. and EU markets, which is directly linked to the demand for the restructuring of global supply chains. A special digital payment zone should be established to allow encryption-based digital payment systems within the Sinuiju Economic Zone and guarantee the free exchange of foreign currency. It is reported that plans to pilot digital encryption payment methods between North Korean IT companies and Chinese companies have already been discussed. Measures to pursue benefits that are best for North Korea are also necessary. Principle 1. Utilize the new Yalu River Bridge as the first tangible reward for denuclearization. The opening of the new Yalu River Bridge is the quickest economic benefit North Korea can immediately obtain in exchange for denuclearization. Since China's infrastructure is already fully complete, the bridge can be opened within a few months once North Korea constructs customs facilities. If designed as a package deal exchanging the opening of the new Yalu River Bridge for a nuclear freeze in the first phase of denuclearization, both China and the West will gain concrete evidence to trust North Korea's commitment to reform. Principle 2. Establish a model of China West's Shenzhen rather than China's Shenzhen. The Shenzhen Special Economic Zone has been successful along the border with Hong Kong. Sinuiju can connect not only with China's Dandong, but also with South Korean and Western companies after denuclearization. The best approach for North Korea is a structure that rapidly builds logistics and manufacturing infrastructure with Chinese capital while opening IT, finance, and high-tech industries to South Korean, U.S., and EU companies, thereby simultaneously minimizing dependence on China and diversifying revenue streams. Principle 3. The revenue structure for logistics transit fees must be legalized. By systematizing tolls for the new Yalu River Bridge, transshipment fees for the Sinuiju bonded port, and transit fees for the Pyongyang Line Railway, North Korea positions itself not as a passive rent collector, but as an active operator of logistics infrastructure. Just as Dubai became a key hub for regional logistics through the Jebel Ali Free Trade Port, Sinuiju is designed to be an essential transit point for Northeast Asian land logistics. Principle 4. Utilize the IT and financial district as the vanguard for institutional experiments. Full internet access, swift connectivity, and free foreign currency exchange are permitted exclusively within the Sinuiju IT and financial district. After verifying the success model of this zone, it will be expanded in stages to Rason, Wonsan, and then Pyongyang. This follows the same logic as China, which first experimented in Shenzhen before expanding nationwide. This is the optimal path for North Korea, maximizing economic effects while minimizing threats to the regime. Principle 5. Develop the Medusan Economic Association into a North Korean version of the CITIC Group. Established in May 2018, the Madusan Economic Association has laid the groundwork and investment in real estate, fisheries, electronic products, precious metal processing, and port operations, and is equipped with dozens of production units and several overseas branches. While granting this organization overall authority over the development of Sinuiju, it will allow foreign equity participation of up to 40% to simultaneously pursue the attraction of foreign capital and the absorption of technology. This is the North Korean version of the model in which China's CITIC Group functioned as an intermediary connecting state capital with foreign investment during the early stages of the reform and opening up. Principle 6. Conduct internal experiments in parallel through the development of Wihwado. A mixed-use development combining greenhouse farms and residential areas is already underway on the river island of Wihwado. By linking Wihwado to serve as a hinterland agricultural and food supply base for the Sinuiju Economic Zone, a foundation for food self-sufficiency is established for the workforce within the zone. This represents a self-reliant economic special zone model that does not depend on external aid, a method designed to secure economic benefits while maintaining the North Korean regime's negotiating power with the outside world. The decisive difference between Sinuiju and Rason or Kaesong is that it is directly connected to China's Dandong and the three northeastern provinces, which constitute the single largest hinterland economic zone. With Dandong's GDP at approximately $15 billion, Sinuiju is the only North Korean city capable of immediate connection to the entire northeastern economic zone of China. Furthermore, since the Pyongyang Line Railway is directly connected to Pyongyang, it can utilize the labor pool of the capital region as a support base, and after denuclearization, it will become a key nodal point in the Northeast Asian land transportation network connecting Seoul, Kaesong, Pyongyang, Sinuiju, Dandong, Beijing. Sinuiju, a North Korean city with a population of 2.8 million, currently faces limitations due to low power supply and aging infrastructure, but establishing a power grid connection with Dandong is the fastest solution. Sinuiju is the most symbolic window demonstrating North Korea's willingness to open up. Capital flowing in through this window will serve as a catalyst for the recognition of private property rights and the expansion of the market economy throughout North Korea. Next time, I will talk about the Chongjin Economic Development Zone. Thank you.